My parents handed me a $10 check at my wedding reception and laughed. Sorry, honey, but we spent your college fund on your sister's new Tesla. She's just always been the priority for us. When my new husband asked if they were joking, my father shrugged and said, Hey, at least we showed up to this circus. I just smiled and said, Thanks for making this so easy for me. That was 2 weeks ago. This morning, I woke up to 59 desperate messages from them, begging me to stop what I had just started. I'm sitting in my car outside the courthouse right now, hands shaking as I type this. The papers are filed. There's no going back. Let me start from the beginning. 2 weeks ago, the wedding reception, the DJ had just finished announcing Mike and I as husband and wife when Mom approached our table. She was clutching that tiny white envelope like it contained the crown jewels. Congratulations, sweetheart. She kissed my cheek, leaving a lipstick mark I'd later scrub off in the bathroom. We have something special for you. Dad stood behind her, already loosening his tie. He'd been checking his watch every 5 minutes since the ceremony ended. I opened the envelope. A check for exactly $10. Made out to Emma and Mike. In Mom's careful cursive, the memo line read, Best we could do. Is this a joke? Mike's voice carried that edge it gets when he's trying not to lose his temper in public. Mom giggled. Actually giggled. Sorry, honey, but we spent your college fund on your sister's new Tesla. She's just always been the priority for us. The table went dead silent. My Aunt Susan dropped her fork. Cousin Danny's mouth fell open mid-chew. Dad shrugged, hands deep in his pockets. Hey, at least we showed up to this circus. That's when something inside me just clicked. Like a switch flipping. I smiled. The biggest, brightest smile I could manage. Thanks for making this so easy for me. Easy for what? Mom asked, but I was already standing up. You'll see. The next morning, Mike found me at the kitchen table with my laptop, 3 empty coffee cups, and a stack of papers that would make a tax attorney weep. Babe, what are you doing? It's 6 a.m. Research. I didn't look up from the screen. Did you know that if someone takes money intended for one purpose and uses it for another without permission, that's called conversion? And if they do it repeatedly over years, it becomes a pattern? He sat down across from me. Emma. They've been stealing from me for 15 years, Mike. The college fund, the money Grandma left me, even the birthday cash from relatives. All of it went to Chelsea's private school, her car, her apartment deposit. You can prove this? I turned the laptop around. Bank statements, canceled checks, emails between my parents discussing how to redirect Emma's funds for Chelsea's immediate needs. Mom never could figure out how to permanently delete emails. That afternoon, the lawyer's office. This is quite a case. Attorney Jennifer Walsh flipped through the documents I'd compiled. Conversion, breach of fiduciary duty, potentially fraud if they forged your signature on any withdrawals. They did. I pointed to page 12. That's not my signature on the $15,000 withdrawal for Chelsea's study abroad program. How much are we talking about total? Conservative estimate? $87,000. Plus interest. Mike squeezed my hand. Jennifer raised an eyebrow. We can definitely work with this. 3 days later, Chelsea's Instagram story, my sister posted a video of herself washing her Tesla, captioned, Sunday self-care with my baby. #blessed, #Tesla life, #parents love. The comments were brutal. Didn't your sister just get married? Nice priorities lol, some people really are the favorite child. Huh, wait, isn't this the girl whose parents gave her sister $10 at her wedding? Word travels fast in our small town. 1 week later, the first phone call. Mom called while I was grocery shopping. I answered on speaker in the cereal aisle. Emma, honey, we need to talk. People are saying terrible things about us at the country club. What kind of terrible things? That we favor Chelsea. That we stole from you. Mrs. Henderson actually asked me if it was true that we gave you $10 at your wedding. An elderly woman selecting oatmeal glanced over, clearly eavesdropping. Well, did you? That's not the point. You're making us look like awful parents. Mom, I haven't said a word to anyone. Then why is everyone talking? I grabbed the box of granola. Maybe because Chelsea posts her entire life on social media and half the town was at my wedding? The line went quiet. We need to fix this, Emma. What will it take? I'll call you back. I hung up and immediately texted Jennifer, They're starting to panic. 10 days later, the family group chat explosion. It started with a simple message from Aunt Susan. Can someone explain what happened at Emma's wedding? Rose Peterson said something at book club that made no sense. Chelsea responded first, nothing happened. People are just jealous of my Tesla. Then cousin Danny, wait, you got a Tesla with Emma's college money? Bruh. Chelsea, it wasn't her money. It was family money. Danny, pretty sure college funds belong to the kid therefore. Uncle Bob jumped in, someone explain this Tesla situation. Now. Mom tried damage control, there's been a misunderstanding. We love both our daughters equally. Cousin Sarah, then why did you give Emma $10 at her wedding while Chelsea drives a $60,000 car? Grandpa Joe, who never texts, you did what at the wedding? The chat exploded. 17 family members, all typing at once. Chelsea, Emma's just mad she didn't get free money for existing. Aunt Susan, free money? It was her college fund. Cousin Danny, yo Chelsea, maybe sit this one out. Uncle Bob, I gave money for Emma's college fund for 5 straight Christmases. Cousin Sarah, same. Where did that money go? Dad finally joined, everyone needs to stay out of our business. Grandpa Joe, your business became family business when you humiliated Emma at her wedding. I screenshotted the entire conversation and sent it to Jennifer. 12 days later, the country club incident. Mom called, crying. Actually sobbing into the phone. Emma, please, you have to stop this. Mrs. Patterson cornered me at the club today. She asked if it was true that we embezzled your inheritance. Did you tell her the truth? There is no truth. We're your parents. We made financial decisions we thought were best. For Chelsea. For the family. I was folding laundry, trying to stay calm. Mom, I haven't told anyone anything. I haven't posted on social media. I haven't called Mrs. Patterson or Mrs. Henderson or anyone else. Then why is everyone talking? Because you humiliated me at my own wedding in front of 200 people, and then Chelsea bragged about her Tesla on Instagram. What did you think would happen? Silence. We need to meet. Tonight. I'll think about it. That evening, the family meeting, they chose Applebee's. Neutral territory, I guess. Mom wore sunglasses indoors. Dad kept checking over his shoulder like he was being followed. Chelsea arrived 20 minutes late, still in her gym clothes. This is ridiculous, she announced, sliding into the booth. Emma's being dramatic. Dramatic? Mike leaned forward. Your parents gave us $10 at our wedding and said they spent her college money on your car. It wasn't just Emma's money. Yes, it was. Dad interrupted quietly. It was specifically set aside for Emma's education. We all stared at him. Even Mom looked shocked. Richard, what are you saying? I'm saying we messed up, Linda. We messed up big time. Chelsea's face went white. Dad, your grandmother left that money specifically for Emma's college. The birthday money from relatives, the graduation gifts, it was all earmarked for her future. But I needed, Chelsea started. You wanted, Dad corrected. There's a difference. The table went silent. Our waitress hovered nervously, probably wondering if she should call security. Mom finally spoke, so what do you want, Emma? What will make this go away? I pulled out a folder. I want what was stolen from me. With interest. How much? Dad asked. $87,000. Chelsea knocked over her water glass. Are you insane? We don't have that kind of money. You have a Tesla, Mike pointed out. I'm not selling my car. Then figure something else out. Mom was crying again. Emma, please. We're family. Family doesn't steal from each other and then mock the victim at their wedding. I stood up. Mike followed. You have 48 hours to respond to the offer. After that, we go to court. The next day, social media meltdown. Chelsea posted a lengthy Instagram story at 2 a.m. So apparently I'm supposed to feel bad for having nice things? Some people can't handle when others succeed. Families should support each other, not tear each other down over money. #blessed, #family drama, #hattersgonna. The comments were not supportive. Girl, read the room. Your parents literally gave your sister $10 at her wedding. This is not the flex you think it is. Maybe learn what embezzlement means before posting? By noon, she deleted everything. Day 2, the panic sets in. Dad called at 7 a.m. Emma, we talked to a lawyer. He says you have a strong case. I know. The thing is, we don't have $87,000. Not liquid, anyway. That sounds like a problem. Don't be cruel, sweetheart. We're your parents. Parents who called my wedding a circus and gave me $10 while Chelsea drives a Tesla bought with my inheritance. He sighed. What if we sell the boat? The boat's worth maybe $20,000. The RV? Dad, you need to sell everything. The boat, the RV, Chelsea's Tesla, and probably take out a loan for the rest. Chelsea will never agree to sell her car. Then Chelsea can get a job and make payments. She's in graduate school. So as I accept I had to pay for it myself because you stole my college fund. He hung up. That afternoon, the extended family weighs in. Grandpa Joe called. He never calls. Emma, I heard about the wedding situation. Hey Grandpa. I want you to know I'm proud of you for standing up for yourself. Thanks. Also, I'm changing my will. Your parents aren't getting a dime. Everything's going to you and your cousins. Grandpa, you don't have to. Yes, I do. This isn't the first time they've pulled something like this. Remember when Chelsea borrowed your car for 6 months in high school? And crashed it. And never paid for the repairs. Your parents covered for her then, too. We talked for an hour. Turns out, half the family had been watching this pattern for years. Evening, the desperate counteroffer. Mom texted, we can do $40,000. That's all we can manage. I texted back, $87,000 or I file the lawsuit tomorrow. Emma, please be reasonable. I am being reasonable. I'm giving you a chance to handle this quietly. What about family loyalty? What about it? Where was family loyalty when you stole from me? Where was it at my wedding when you humiliated me in front of everyone? My phone rang immediately. You're really going to destroy our family over money? Mom was screaming now. No, Mom. You already destroyed our family. I'm just setting the consequences. That night, the house meeting, according to my cousin Danny, who heard it from Aunt Susan, my parents called an emergency family meeting at their house. Everyone showed up. The agenda, get the family to pressure me into dropping the lawsuit. The result, complete disaster. Uncle Bob apparently stood up and said, you want to know what Emma should do? She should take you for every penny you have. Aunt Susan added, I cannot believe you gave that child $10 at her wedding. $10. Even my sweet Aunt Margaret, who never says anything bad about anyone, reportedly stated, Linda, Richard, I love you both, but what you did was unconscionable. The meeting ended with my parents sitting alone in their living room while the entire extended family left to go comfort each other at Uncle Bob's house. 48 hours later, the morning of, my phone started buzzing at 5:47 a.m. Message 1, Mom, Emma, we need more time. Message 2, Dad, please don't file today. Message 3, Chelsea, you're ruining our family. Message 4, Mom, we'll give you $50,000. Message 5, unknown number, this is your sister's boyfriend. Chelsea is having panic attacks. Please reconsider. By 6:30 a.m., I had 23 messages. By 7:15 a.m., it was 41 messages. By 8 a.m., 59 messages. I turned off my phone and drove to the courthouse. The courthouse, 9 a.m., Jennifer met me at the steps. You sure about this? They had 2 weeks. They chose to spend it trying to manipulate me instead of finding the money. Once we file, this becomes public record. Good. We walked inside. The filing, the clerk stamped the papers at 9:23 a.m. Official lawsuit filed, Emma Rodriguez versus Richard and Linda Rodriguez. Conversion, breach of fiduciary duty, fraud. Amount sought, $87,000 plus legal fees and punitive damages. Jennifer handed me copies. They'll be served this afternoon. How long until this becomes public? It already is. Court records are accessible immediately. My phone, which I'd finally turned back on, started buzzing again. The aftermath begins. By noon, 3 different people from high school had texted me screenshots of the court filing. Apparently, someone from our town monitors the civil court filings and posts interesting ones on Facebook. Holy crap, Emma. Saw your lawsuit against your parents on the courthouse Facebook page. Get that money, girl. Wait, your parents actually stole your college fund? That's insane. My mom saw the court filing. She says she always knew something was weird about your family dynamics. I was getting texts from people I hadn't spoken to in years. Chelsea's Meltdown, Part 1. Chelsea called, hyperventilating. Emma, they're going to garnish Dad's wages. They might put liens on the house. Do you understand what you've done? I understand perfectly. This could destroy them financially. They destroyed me financially first. It's not the same thing. You're right. It's not the same thing. They're adults who made deliberate choices to steal from their child. I'm a victim seeking legal recourse. You're destroying the family. No, Chelsea. Mom and Dad destroyed the family when they decided you were worth more than me. She hung up. The workplace drama. Apparently, my parents both work for small companies where gossip travels fast. By 2 p.m., Dad's boss had called him into a meeting about personal financial issues affecting workplace professionalism. Mom worked at a dental office where 3 of the hygienists lived in our neighborhood and had already heard about the lawsuit from the Facebook post. Dad called at 3 p.m., Emma, I might lose my job over this. You might lose your job because you embezzled money from your daughter and got sued for it. Actions have consequences, Dad. This is vindictive. This is justice. The social media explosion, Part 2. By evening, the story had spread beyond our small town. Someone had taken screenshots of Chelsea's old Instagram posts about the Tesla and combined them with news of the lawsuit. A local Facebook group called Small Town Drama had created an entire thread about it. The post had 300 comments and climbing. Anyone else remember when this family gave their daughter $10 at her wedding while the other daughter was posting about her new Tesla? I was at that wedding. The parents literally called it a circus. Good for Emma. Sue them into the ground. Wait, the college fund story is real? I thought it was just gossip. Chelsea tried to defend herself in the comments, but it backfired spectacularly. You people don't understand the full situation. Response: We understand that your parents stole $87,000 from your sister and gave her $10 at her wedding while you drove around in a Tesla. What else is there to understand? Chelsea, she's my sister. She should want me to be happy. Response: Sisters don't steal each other's futures. Chelsea deleted her Facebook account by 9 p.m. The extended family reaction. Aunt Susan called while I was making dinner. Emma, honey, I just want you to know that we're all behind you 100%. Thanks, Aunt Susan. Your Uncle Bob is furious. He keeps saying he should have spoken up years ago when he noticed the favoritism. It's not your fault. Your cousin Danny wants to testify as a character witness if it goes to trial. He says he's watched your parents treat you like the spare child for 20 years. This surprised me. Danny said that? Danny said a lot of things. Most of them unrepeatable. Your male cousins are particularly angry about this, for some reason. Maybe because they understand that parents aren't supposed to rob their children? Maybe. Anyway, Grandpa Joe wants to contribute to your legal fees. He doesn't need to do that. Try telling him no. He's already written the check. Chelsea's Meltdown, Part 2. At 11 p.m., Chelsea showed up at my apartment. Mike answered the door. She's crying in the hallway, he told me. Like, ugly crying. I found her slumped against the wall outside our door. Emma, please. Mom hasn't eaten in 2 days. Dad's barely sleeping. They're talking about declaring bankruptcy. They should have thought of that before they stole from me. I'll sell the Tesla. This got my attention. What? I'll sell it. Today. Right now if you want. Just please drop the lawsuit. Chelsea, the Tesla was only part of it. There's still $60,000 unaccounted for. They don't have $60,000. Then they'll figure it out. Get loans, sell investments, liquidate retirement accounts, I don't care how they do it. You're being heartless. I'm being practical. They stole from me for 15 years. Now they can spend 15 years paying it back. She cried harder. We used to be best friends. Best friends don't let their parents steal from each other. I didn't know. You absolutely knew. You knew every time you asked them to pay for something that I was told we couldn't afford. You knew when I had to take out student loans that your private school was paid in full. You knew, Chelsea. You just didn't care. Mike helped her to her feet. You should go home. The media attention. This morning, I woke up to a voicemail from a producer at a local news station. Hi Emma, this is Jessica from Channel 7 News. We'd love to interview you about your lawsuit against your parents. This story is really resonating with viewers who feel they've been treated unfairly by family members. Please call me back. Also 3 friend requests from reporters on Facebook, an email from someone claiming to represent a documentary crew, and a DM on Instagram from a TikTok creator with 2 million followers asking if she could react to my story. I'm not responding to any of them. The current situation. It's been exactly 2 weeks since the wedding. 1 week since I filed the lawsuit. My parents have burned through their savings trying to find a settlement amount. They've listed the boat and RV for sale. Chelsea has reluctantly put her Tesla on Facebook Marketplace. They're offering $65,000 total to settle out of court. Jennifer thinks we should counter with $80,000. Mike thinks I should take whatever gets us the most money with the least ongoing drama. I'm sitting in my car outside the courthouse where this all started, trying to decide what to do. The crazy part? I'm not even angry anymore. I'm just tired. Tired of being the afterthought. Tired of watching my sister get everything while I get crumbs. Tired of my parents acting like their favoritism is somehow my fault. But I'm also tired of fighting. The $10 check is framed on my kitchen counter. Mike wanted to throw it away, but I kept it. It's evidence, sure, but it's also a reminder. A reminder that sometimes the most insulting gift is also the most valuable one. Because that check, that ridiculous, insulting, $10 check, gave me the clarity I needed to finally stand up for myself. My parents spent years teaching Chelsea that she was worth more than me. They spent years teaching me that I should be grateful for whatever scraps I received. They never expected me to learn the lesson they actually taught, that actions have consequences, and sometimes those consequences come with interest. Update, 3 p.m. I just called Jennifer. We're accepting the $65,000 settlement. Not because I forgive them. Not because I want to keep the family together. Because I'm done letting them control my life. Taking the settlement means I can close this chapter and move forward. Dragging it through court for years would just keep me tied to their drama. The papers will be signed tomorrow. Chelsea can keep her Tesla. My parents can keep their house. I'll keep my peace of mind and the knowledge that I finally stood up for myself. And if anyone in my family ever tries to treat me like the spare child again, they now know exactly what will happen. The $10 check stays framed in my kitchen. Not as a reminder of their insult, but as a reminder of my worth. Sometimes the best revenge is simply refusing to accept being treated as less than you are. Final update, 6 p.m. Chelsea just texted, "Thank you for taking the settlement. I know you could have gotten more." I texted back, "You're right. I could have." She responded, "So why didn't you?" "Because I'm not them." She didn't text back. Mom called an hour later. "Emma, I know things have been difficult, but I hope we can rebuild our relationship." "Mom, I'm not cutting you out of my life. But our relationship is going to look very different now." "What do you mean?" "I mean you don't get to hurt me and then pretend it didn't happen. You don't get to treat me like the spare child and then act surprised when I protect myself. We never meant, you meant exactly what you did. You just didn't expect consequences." She was quiet for a long time. "Can we at least try to move forward?" "We can try. But it's going to take time. And it's going to take change. Real change." "What kind of change?" "For starters, you could try treating me like I matter as much as Chelsea does." Another long silence. "I'll try. We'll see." 3 days later, the settlement signing. I thought signing the papers would feel like closure. Instead, it felt like walking into a trap. Jennifer's office was cramped with all of us there. My parents sat on one side, their lawyer on the other. Chelsea squeezed into a corner chair, still wearing her gym clothes like this was just another inconvenience in her schedule. "Before we finalize this," their lawyer said, "my clients want to add a confidentiality clause." "Excuse me?" Jennifer looked up sharply. "No social media posts, no interviews, no public discussion of the settlement terms." I laughed. Actually laughed out loud. "You want to pay me to shut up about you stealing from me?" Dad leaned forward. "Emma, please. Think about the family reputation." "I am thinking about it. That's why I'm saying no." Their lawyer shuffled papers. We could reduce the settlement amount if the confidentiality clause is rejected. Try it. Jennifer's voice could have cut glass. Your clients embezzled money from their daughter. They don't get to dictate the terms of their consequences. Mom started crying again. Everyone already knows, Emma. What's the point of humiliating us further? The point is that I don't sign my silence away for anyone. Not even family. Their lawyer whispered something to my parents. Dad's face went red. Fine. No confidentiality clause. We signed the papers at 3:47 p.m. No one shook hands. That evening, the unexpected guest. I was heating up leftover pizza when the doorbell rang. Mike was at work, so I checked the peephole. A woman I didn't recognize. 50s, professional looking, holding a briefcase. Emma Rodriguez? I'm Patricia Hendricks from the state attorney's office. My stomach dropped. State attorney? May I come in? We need to discuss your parents' financial activities. She sat at my kitchen table and pulled out a thick folder. Your lawsuit triggered an automatic flag in our system. When someone sues for financial fraud, we review the case for potential criminal charges. Criminal charges? Your parents withdrew money from accounts with your social security number attached. That's identity theft. They forged your signature on several documents. That's fraud. The total amount exceeds $50,000, which makes it a felony. I stared at her. I don't want to press criminal charges. You don't have to. The state can pursue this independently now that we're aware of it. What does that mean? It means your parents could be arrested. Soon. 10 minutes later, the emergency call. I called Jennifer immediately. Emma, calm down. This isn't uncommon in conversion cases. They're going to arrest my parents. Maybe. The DA's office has discretion in these cases. They might offer a plea deal instead. What kind of plea deal? Community service, probation, restitution, which they've already paid through the settlement. But they could still go to jail? It's possible. Emma, this is what happens when people commit financial crimes. Even against family members. I hung up and immediately called Dad. We need to talk. Now. 2 hours later, the crisis meeting. We met at a diner outside town. Mom looked like she hadn't slept in weeks. Dad kept checking the parking lot like he expected police cars to surround the building. The state attorney wants to prosecute you for fraud. Mom's coffee cup clattered against the saucer. What? Identity theft, forgery, felony fraud. Patricia Hendricks from the DA's office came to my apartment. Dad's face went ashen. Emma, you have to stop this. I can't stop this. I didn't start this. The state flagged your case automatically. Can't you tell them it was a family matter? Mom pleaded. Fraud is fraud, Mom. It doesn't matter if we're related. Chelsea, who had been silent until now, finally spoke. How long could they go to prison? I don't know. Years, maybe. The table went dead quiet. There's something else. Dad's voice was barely a whisper. Something we didn't tell you. My blood ran cold. What? The money we took. It wasn't just from you. What do you mean? Mom was crying again. Your cousin Danny's college fund. Some money your grandparents gave us to hold for your cousin Sarah's wedding. The life insurance money when Great-Aunt Rose died. How much? My voice sounded strange to my own ears. Total? Including yours? About $200,000. I thought I was going to throw up. $200,000? From multiple family members? We were going to pay it all back, Dad said desperately. We just needed time. Time for what? To steal more? Chelsea needed. I don't care what Chelsea needed. I was standing now, other diners staring. You stole from the entire family. Emma, please sit down, Mom whispered. Does anyone else know? Silence. Does anyone else know? I repeated. Not yet, Dad admitted. That night, the family conference call. I called Aunt Susan first. Then Uncle Bob. Then Cousin Danny. Within an hour, we had a three-way call going with 8 family members. Let me understand this, Uncle Bob's voice was deadly calm. Richard and Linda took money intended for multiple family members and spent it all on Chelsea? That's what they told me. Cousin Danny exploded. They stole my college money too? I've been working 2 jobs to pay off student loans. How much did they take from us? Aunt Susan asked. They said about 200,000 total. The line went silent. Then chaos erupted. Everyone talking at once, voices overlapping in anger and disbelief. I trusted them with Sarah's wedding money. The life insurance money was supposed to be distributed equally. Danny worked nights at a warehouse because he couldn't afford school. This is unbelievable. Grandpa Joe's voice cut through the noise. Everyone stopped yelling. Instant silence. Emma, are the police involved? The DA's office is reviewing the case for criminal charges. Good. They should go to prison. Grandpa, no, Emma. This isn't just about favoritism anymore. This is theft. From their own family. They deserve whatever happens to them. The next morning, the reckoning. My phone started ringing at 6 a.m. Cousin Sarah, sobbing. Emma, is it true? Did they really steal my wedding money? Before I could answer, she continued, I postponed my wedding twice because I thought we couldn't afford it. I've been eating ramen for months trying to save up. Then Cousin Danny called. I dropped out of college for a semester because I couldn't afford tuition. They had my money the whole time? Then Aunt Margaret, Emma, dear, I think there might be more. More what? More victims. I've been thinking about it all night. Remember when your cousin Jake needed surgery money? Your parents offered to handle the fundraising and collect donations from the family. Jake never got surgery money from the family? He got some, but not nearly what we collected. We all assumed other people hadn't contributed much. How much are we talking about? At least $15,000. Maybe more. I hung up and immediately called Patricia Hendricks. Ms. Rodriguez? I was just about to call you. There are more victims. We know. We've been investigating since yesterday. Your parents have been running this scheme for nearly a decade. How many people? So far? 12 family members. Total amount stolen, approximately $350,000. I dropped the phone. 2 hours later, the arrest. I was at work when Jennifer called. Emma, I need you to sit down. They arrested them. This morning. Both of them. They're being held pending arraignment. What are the charges? Fraud, identity theft, embezzlement, conspiracy. Felony charges, Emma? They're looking at serious prison time. I sat in my car in the office parking lot, crying. Not for my parents, but for all of us. For Danny working 2 jobs. For Sarah eating ramen and postponing her wedding. For Jake not getting surgery money. For the family that was about to be completely destroyed. The media frenzy. By noon, news vans were parked outside my parents' house. The local paper had a story on their website, local couple arrested for family fraud scheme. My phone wouldn't stop ringing. Reporters, distant relatives, high school classmates I hadn't talked to in years. The Facebook group Small Town Drama exploded with new posts. Holy crap, they got arrested. Wait, they stole from other family members too? I heard it was over $300,000. That poor family. Imagine finding out your parents are criminals. Someone had posted a photo of my parents being led away in handcuffs. Mom was covering her face with her hands. Dad was staring straight ahead like he was in shock. The post had 500 comments and counting. Chelsea's complete breakdown. Chelsea showed up at my apartment at 3 p.m., hysterical. They arrested Mom and Dad. They're in jail, Emma. Jail. She was hyperventilating, makeup streaked down her face. I know. You know? That's all you can say? Mike came out of the bedroom, took one look at Chelsea, and handed her a paper bag. Breathe into this. I can't breathe. My parents are criminals. Everyone's saying they stole hundreds of thousands of dollars. They did steal hundreds of thousands of dollars. From family. That's what makes it worse, not better. She doubled over, still hyperventilating. My graduate program is going to kick me out. My boyfriend's parents already told him he can't see me anymore. I can't show my face anywhere. Now you know how I felt at my wedding. This is not the same thing. You're right. This is worse. She looked up at me, tears streaming. How can you be so cold? They're our parents. They're criminals, Chelsea. They stole from 12 family members. They forged documents. They committed identity theft. They did it for me. Her voice was barely a whisper. They did it for you, I agreed. She crumpled onto my couch. I'm going to lose everything. Everything you gained by destroying other people's lives. I didn't know. Stop saying that. You knew Danny was working 2 jobs. You knew Sarah postponed her wedding. You knew Jake couldn't afford his surgery. You knew all of it, and you didn't care because you were getting what you wanted. I was their daughter. I thought they were just taking care of me. They were stealing for you. There's a difference. She cried for 20 minutes straight. Mike and I sat in silence, watching her fall apart. Finally, she looked up. What happens now? Now you figure out how to live with the consequences of choices you didn't make but definitely benefited from. Will you help me? Help you what? Get through this. Be a family again. I thought about it for a long time. Chelsea, I'll help you figure out how to move forward. But we're never going back to the way things were. That family is gone. Our parents made sure of that. The arraignment, I didn't go. I couldn't. Instead, I sat in my kitchen, staring at that framed $10 check, waiting for Jennifer to call with news. She called at 2 p.m. They pleaded not guilty. Bail was set at $50,000 each. Will they make bail? I don't think they have access to that kind of money anymore. Not with all their accounts frozen pending investigation. So they stay in jail? For now. I hung up and called Grandpa Joe. I heard about the arraignment, he said. They're staying in jail. Good. Let them think about what they've done. Grandpa, I feel terrible. Why? Because I started this. If I hadn't filed that lawsuit. Emma, listen to me. You didn't start this. They started this 15 years ago when they made their first withdrawal from your college fund. You just finished it. But the family will heal. It'll take time, but we'll heal. And we'll be stronger without people who steal from their own relatives. What about Chelsea? What about her? She's falling apart. Then maybe she'll learn something from this. Maybe she'll finally understand that actions have consequences. The ripple effects. Over the next few days, the full scope of my parents' crimes became clear. Cousin Jake finally went public with his story. I needed surgery for a herniated disc. My aunt and uncle offered to collect family donations. They said they raised $8,000. I later found out the family donated over $23,000. I've been living with chronic pain for 3 years because I couldn't afford the surgery they had money for. His Facebook post went viral locally. 500 shares, 1,200 comments, and suddenly everyone in town knew the full story. Cousin Sarah posted her own story. I postponed my wedding twice and broke up with my fiancé because I thought we couldn't afford to get married. My parents had saved $12,000 for my wedding and given it to my aunt and uncle to hold safely. That money bought my cousin's Tesla instead. My relationship didn't survive the stress. The local news picked up both stories. By Thursday, a reporter was standing outside my office asking if I wanted to comment. I didn't. The unexpected alliance. Friday evening, my doorbell rang. I looked through the peephole and saw the last person I expected, Chelsea's boyfriend, Marcus. Emma, can we talk? I let him in. He looked awful, unshaven, dark circles under his eyes. Chelsea's not handling this well. I know. She's talking about hurting herself. My blood ran cold. What kind of talking? She says everyone hates her. That she's ruined everyone's lives. That the world would be better off without her. I grabbed my keys. Where is she? Your parents' house. She's been staying there since they got arrested. We drove in silence. The house was dark except for one upstairs window, Chelsea's old bedroom. I used my spare key to get in. The house felt empty, wrong. Like a museum of a family that no longer existed. Chelsea was lying on her childhood bed, staring at the ceiling. Chels? She didn't move. Did Marcus send you? He's worried about you. Everyone's worried about everyone except the person who actually caused all this. I sat on the edge of the bed. You didn't cause this. Yes, I did. Every time I asked for money, every time I let them pay for something I knew we couldn't afford, every time I ignored the signs, I caused this. She was right, but this wasn't the time for brutal honesty. What you're feeling right now. It's guilt. It's shame. It's overwhelming. But it's not permanent. Isn't it? No. You can't undo what happened, but you can choose what happens next. She turned to look at me for the first time. What would you choose? I'd start by getting help. Real help. Therapy, support groups, whatever it takes to process this. And then? Then I'd spend the rest of my life trying to make amends. How do you make amends for destroying 12 people's lives? One person at a time. One day at a time. She sat up slowly. Would you help me? Help you what? Figure out how to apologize. How to make this right. I looked at my sister, really looked at her. For the first time in years, she looked smaller than me instead of larger than life. Yeah. I'll help you. The long road ahead. That's where we are now. It's been 3 weeks since the wedding, 1 week since our parents were arrested. They're still in jail, awaiting trial. Their lawyer says they'll probably take a plea deal, several years in prison, full restitution to all victims, and permanent financial oversight. Chelsea started therapy and moved in with Marcus's sister until she figures out her next steps. She's withdrawing from graduate school to get a job and start making payments to family members. The extended family is slowly starting to heal. Cousin Danny got a settlement that covered his student loans. Sarah used her money to finally have her wedding. Jake got his surgery scheduled. I'm still processing everything. Some days I'm angry at my parents. Some days I'm sad for the family we used to be. Most days I'm just grateful that the truth finally came out. The $10 check is still framed in my kitchen. Mike keeps asking why I won't throw it away. Because it changed everything, I tell him. That ridiculous, insulting check was the catalyst for exposing a decade of financial abuse. Without it, my parents would still be stealing, and my cousins would still be struggling with debts that weren't really theirs. Sometimes the smallest insult carries the biggest truth. My parents taught me that I was worth less than my sister. They taught me to accept scraps and be grateful for neglect. But in the end, they accidentally taught me the most valuable lesson of all, that I'm worth fighting for. Even if I have to fight alone. Especially then. Epilogue, 6 months later. Today I got a letter from Dad in prison. He's been sentenced to 3 years. Mom got 2 years because she cooperated more fully with investigators. The letter was 2 pages of apologies and explanations and promises to do better when he gets out. At the bottom, he wrote, I know you'll never forgive us, but I hope someday you'll understand that everything we did came from a place of love. I threw the letter away. Love doesn't steal. Love doesn't humiliate. Love doesn't choose favorites. Love doesn't hand someone a $10 check at their wedding and call their life a circus. Chelsea and I have coffee once a month now. We're not close, but we're civil. She's working at a restaurant and slowly paying back family members. She sold the Tesla and moved into a studio apartment. Last month she said something that surprised me. I think this was the best thing that could have happened to me. Prison for our parents and financial ruin for you was the best thing? For the first time in my life, I had to earn something. I had to work for what I needed instead of just asking Mom and Dad to fix it. It's terrifying, but it's also real. Maybe she's learning the same lesson I did, that being worth something and knowing you're worth something are 2 different things. The framed check is still in my kitchen. Sometimes guests ask about it. It's a reminder, I tell them, of the day I finally learned my own value. They usually think I'm being dramatic. They're not wrong. But sometimes drama is just truth with better lighting.